Welcome back. So Salt Papi gets his redemption beating Amadeus Ferrari on Misfits 14, which I'm really happy about because Salt Papi is one of my favourites from Misfits. I've really got to give it to Salt Papi because there would have been a lot of demons in his mind after getting stopped by Slim, but fair play, he got the job done because Amadeus Ferrari was no joke. He was a serious competitor and he meant business. And he had a lot more fight experience than Salt Papi. Because that stoppage defeat that Salt Papi suffered certainly didn't seem to be affecting him. Because Amadeus Ferrari was throwing bombs. And Salt Papi wasn't scared to have a shootout. And I was on the edge of my seat thinking, what you doing? Because, that was playing into Amadeus Ferrari's hands. He needed to be boxing. He didn't need to be standing there trading. But fair play to Salt Papi, he got the job done and he was getting more success. But that is what I love about Salt Papi. His style is exciting. He has got boxing skill, but when he needs to, he'll have a shootout. And let's face it, the fans love it. People want to see blood and guts, and that's what Salt Papi's all about. I just think Salt Papi done really well, because Amadeus Ferrari's style, the way he rushes in with his head low, swinging bombs, is really difficult to deal with. And Salt Papi's still not really that experienced as a boxer, so I think he done really well. The simple difference between the pair was boxing skills. I know Amadeus Ferrari had more fight experience, but this is boxing, and you could see the difference. Leading up to the fight, Amadeus Ferrari really talked the talk. But unfortunately, he couldn't walk the walk. Before the fight, he was giving it the big one, saying how he fought off two men with knives in his home who tried to burgle him. And he was also telling stories how he's been fighting since he was a child and he's had over 100 fights. But in a post-fight interview, he had every excuse under the sun. He was complaining that he only had 2.5 weeks to prepare for the fight. Which is funny because leading up to the fight, he said he only needed 2.5 weeks to fight Salt Papi, so he sharp changed his tune.
I don't know. I need to start my training camp for Salt Papi because a little boy.
And all of a sudden, he's got an issue with his leg. He's got a hamstring injury. There was no mention of that before. Because beforehand, he was talking as if he could beat Salt Papi with one arm and one leg. But conveniently now, he's got an injury. In another one, he says that he shouldn't have had a point taken away for using his head because Salt Papi started it first. But I mean, there's a difference of heads coming together in blatant use of your head. And he also says that the referee was protecting Salt Papi, saying that as soon as he was letting his hands go, that the referee was intervening. I mean, those excuses coming from everywhere. He was like a different person. Where's all the confidence gone and all the tough man talk? It was all excuses and poor me. It was a pity party. Like I said earlier, he talked the talk, but unfortunately, he couldn't walk the walk. He gave it the big one and failed. That's okay generally, but he quit on his stool. And when you've been, like I say, giving it the big one, acting like you're a bad man, and he boasted about having over 100 fights on the streets, fighting since he was a child, also claiming that he only needs a few weeks to prepare for Salt Papi, and then you go and quit on your stool. People aren't quite so understanding. I'm happy for Salt Papi because, like I've said before, he's one of my favourite fighters from Misfits boxing. And he also had a lot to overcome fighting Amadeus Ferrari. So who would I like to see him fight next? Well, I would still like to see him fight King Kenny, which takes me to King Kenny's fight with Adam Brook. For obvious reasons, I was interested in that fight and seeing how it went. Putting it politely, King Kenny was just leagues above Adam Brook. And don't get me wrong, Adam's tough and he had some success, but the skill gap was just too much. I've mentioned it before, King Kenny's brother is a professional boxing coach, and you can see that because King Kenny is well schooled. And unfortunately for Adam Brook, the skill gap was just too much and King Kenny just took over and was seeing how it went and he stopped him. So Salt Papi and King Kenny both winning their fights, to me, just makes perfect sense for the two of them to fight. I think it's a fight that all the fans would love to see. I think it's a real 50-50 fight. I think it would be difficult to pick a winner, Because stylistically, they both could cause each other problems. Because with King Kenny, he's very skilled, very technical. He's got a great jab, great movement, and he's got a good defense. And then we'll have Salt Papi, who's got that power and also got good technical ability. So I just think it would be a real hard fight to pick a winner. But without doubt would be a great fight, and a fight the fans would be really excited about. Another fight that caught my attention was Mist versus Ryan Taylor. And it was Miss debut fight. And what a way to arrive, because it was an absolute destruction job. He just walked straight through Ryan Taylor. He's an absolute powerhouse. He did look like a novice, but what he lacked in skill, he made up for in brute force. So another one to watch in Misfits boxing. And it might just be the end of Ryan Taylor. Argentinian King versus Pulley. And I'll be honest, I hadn't seen much of these guys before, but it was a decent fight. Both guys had success. I thought it was a pretty entertaining fight, and it could have went either way. Pulley did tire towards the end, but if I'm right thinking, I think he did come in at short notice, so that makes sense. After the fight, my mate Joey Knights got involved. There was words exchanged, and he ended up jumping over the barriers and jumping on the ring. I don't know all of the ins and outs that had previously happened, but from what I know, Joey Knights and Argentinian King had met previously and everything was cool. But since then, Argentinian King had been bad-mouthing Joey Knights. So obviously Joey wasn't happy, so he got up there to put him in his place. Joey Knights would fight him no problem. And if the two were to meet, I think Joey beats him. Maybe I'm just biased, but I think Joey's just too good, too strong, hits too hard. I just think he's an all-round better fighter. I just think that Joey Knights is the essence of Misfits boxing. He can obviously fight, he can punch, he's slick, he's entertaining, he can talk. I just think he's all-round great fighter and great for Misfits boxing. He's certainly one to watch. Tempo Arts versus Ben Knights. Always love to see the big guys slugging it out. And it was a pretty dominant performance from Tempo Arts, stopping Ben in the 5th round. I think Ben will be pretty disappointed with his performance, because I think he gave Tempo a little bit too much respect. I think it was Ben's debut, I might be wrong, but yeah, I think the occasion might have been just too much for him. And like I say, just giving far too much respect. Not taking anything away from Tempo, because he done his job and got him out of there. I think Tempo is a decent fighter. I know he doesn't look in the best of shape, but just look at Tyson Fury. I mean, one of the best in the world. It just goes to show you don't have to be body beautiful to be a good fighter. But I just think Tempo, he's got some decent movement when he wants to, and he puts his punches together well. And I also remember Tempo's fight against Chase. Chase with a body like a Greek god, and they'll have Tempo, who looks like he's just walked out of a fish and chip shop. Fair play to Tempo, because he ground out a hard fight against Chase, but I just think Tempo's skill set was slightly better than Chase's, because if I remember correctly, in the first round, Chase really put it on Tempo, and he was getting a lot of success, landing shots, and Tempo really weathered the storm and came back and hurt Chase. Fair play, it was a tough fight, a real 50-50 fight, and Tempo got the decision, and he showed that he had a decent chin, a decent engine considering, his shape that he's in. So I've got to give Tempo credit. Another thing to mention, just briefly, Tempo Arts keeps calling out my bro, True Geordie, and I used to train Brian. Brian's too big, too strong. It's a demolition job. End of. Julie Poker versus Barbie. Great fight. Really entertaining. Barbie's just big, strong, really awkward. She can give any female fighter problems. Julie Poker, another tough female fighter. The difference was skill set. She was just that bit more skilled than Barbie. That's what won her the fight. What I love about these female fighters, they're not scared to get stuck in. They're not scared to take a shot. They really let their hands go, really leave it all in the ring, all for the entertainment of the fans, and I love it. But as Julie Poker showed, skills pay the bills, and that extra bit of technicality won her the fight. KSI has mentioned he's ready to make a return to Misfits boxing. And KSI is Misfits boxing. There's nothing more exciting and bigger than when KSI fights. So it's great news. Misfits 14 was a great card, and I'm really looking forward to the next one. Let me know what you think. Please like and subscribe and go and watch this video next.